Hello students, the last part of the chapter number 3, this is very important also for you, that is impact of changes in government policy on business and industry. Actually in 1991, Government of India announced a new industrial policy where introduced economic reforms. These reforms sought to liberate the industry from the chain of licensing system. This was liberalization. This followed privatization, which reduced the role of public sector. The policy also encouraged the foreign private participation in the industrial development of the country with the spirit of globalization of the economy of the country. For achieving the objective of development plan, the government sorted an inward-looking trade policy. Due to this, in 1991, the economy faced a serious foreign exchange crisis, high government deficit, and rising trend in prices. As a result, the government decided to announce the new industrial policy aiming at liberalization, privatization and globalization of the Indian economy. So, first of all, that is the privatization. What does this means? It means giving greater role to the private sector in the national building process, and at the same time it should be the reducing the role of public sector. To achieve this, as per the new industrial policy 1991, it adopted the term that is very much important, that is the disinvestment, which means transfer of public sector enterprises to the private sector by way of dilution of government stake in public sector beyond 51%. Okay. Next, number 3, that is the liberalization. That means it refers to an end of license, quota, and many more restrictions and controls which were put on industries before 1991. Okay, the reforms aimed at deregulation and reduction of the government controls, greater autonomy in private investment, and less depends on the public sector. Actually, you know that in the developed country, the most of the part of the country's economy is based on the private sector, and that's for the reason in the government of India after 1991 they have also adopted that term because of the development of business. And number 4, that is the globalization. Actually, when the Manmohan Singh was the finance minister of India, he introduced in 1990s, at that time he introduced globalization. It refers to the integrating our economy with the world's economy. It is a system of interaction among the countries of the world in order to develop the global economy. Physical geographical gap or political boundaries no longer remain barrier for the business enterprise to serve in a distant geographical market, and everything became the open for the whole universe. Okay, whole universe, anywhere, any country, they can do the business without any hesitation of any geographical boundary or any political boundary. That was the globalization which was started in 1991. Then the impact of the globalization. That is the first one, increasing competition. That means business firms are now facing competition not only from the existing players but also from the multinational companies. Already we have discussed previously. They have to compete with the rest of the world. That is the globalization. Next, that point, more demanding customers. Increase of competition has widened the choice of the customers in respect of the goods and services. Thus, customers have become more demanding. Consequently, many new schemes are being evolved by many companies to attract new customer in highly customer oriented market. Different types of goods, different types of product, and there are different types of choice. You know that if you want to purchase a jeans pant, suppose, or any mobile phone, there are variety of companies, variety of you can choose from the variety, the large variety of the product. That is the competition, that is the demanding customer. Okay, next is rapidly changing technology. That so many times we have discussed about this matter. Rapidly changing technology environment that has helped the business firm to improve upon their goods and services, equipment and method in order to face competition and service in the market. Okay, moreover, the producer are now using world class product, world class technology, and without the world class technology, without the very interesting goods or services, you cannot attract the customer. Okay, next is necessity for the change. Necessity for the change, that means since the market forces have become very dynamic and competitive, you know that firms have to change their activities continuously to survive in the market. If they are rigid, if they are not change their activity, they suppose they are in the product, so they cannot survive in the market. They have to modify and improve upon their existing policies and operations from time to time as proactively as possible. Okay, next is market orientation. Market orientation, I have missed that. Market orientation, that means actually you know that earlier business firms, they used to produce fast and go to the market for sale later. In the other word, they had the production oriented marketing operations, but now they have become market oriented firms and are analyzing the market firms and then produce goods accordingly. First of all, they are researching on the market. What type of goods the customers are expecting, and what type of demand they have, what type of choices they have. After study the market, after analysis the market, they produce the product. That is the market oriented firms. Next, next one is new development of human resources. Actually, in order to compete with the foreign firms, Indian companies must have highly skilled and trained and competent human resources. Therefore, huge amount of money is now being spent on the training and development of the employees. Because if the employees are not perfectly trained, they cannot compete with the foreign companies. Okay, so that is the very important, very much important, that is the development of human resources. Then necessity for the change. Necessity for the change, that means since the market forces have become very dynamic and competitive, firms have to change their activities continuously. Okay, next is loss of budgetary of public sector. That means the new policy come heavily on the public sector. The financial supports was reduced. They were told to generate their own resources to order to grow up and improve their performance. So finally, it can be said that the Indian business and industry were positively affected by the economic reforms. The business firms have become more consumer oriented and have taken measure to improve quality to satisfy the consumer. Okay, here we have shown a model that is called LPG model. Look, first one L, that means liberalization, that then P, that means privatization, and then G, that is the globalization. All are interrelated. Liberalization is also depend on the privatization. Privatization is also depend on globalization. Globalization is also depends on the privatization. Privatization is also depends on liberalization. That means this model is called LPG model of 1991. Okay, so this is the impact of changes in government policy of business and industry. We have completed this chapter. And definitely I will provide you as same as the previous chapters, the important questions, case studies, everything I will give you. So thank you so much.